Hey familia, Miranda here, and today I am going to be answering your physical media questions. So about a month or so ago on my Instagram, as well as on my community tab here on YouTube, I asked you guys to leave me some questions so I could do this video here today, and you guys threw some good ones at me, so I'm very excited to be answering your questions today. And if afterwards you guys still have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or hit me up via email or on Instagram, whatever, and I will be glad to answer those down the road in a future video. But anywho, you guys, let's go ahead and see all these questions that you guys left me. I did write them down, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing, is just looking at the questions. So the first one is, what is your favorite Shout Factory Shout Select release? So I actually don't really have too many Shout Factory or Shout Select releases in my collection. I mean, I do have a few, but honestly, I mean, everybody collects differently. And I always like to try and get the most for my money. So if that means saving $1 here, $5 there, or not getting like the boutique, release or whatever, I am honestly okay with that. So that's kind of why I don't really have too many. There are certain ones that I would like to get down the road, but just not really a priority right now. But anywho, the one though that I do have in my collection, which I'm sure you guys already know what this is going to be. I recently got this couple months ago when it went on sale, and that would be the Friday the 13th box set here. This thing is absolutely awesome, you guys. I love it. I love the artwork on the box and everything. It is just so flippin' awesome, and to be able to own all of the Friday the 13th movies is just crazy, you guys. This is just a ridiculously awesome set. I absolutely love it. So this is by far my favorite that I own in my collection. All right, so question number 2 is, what's the first movie you were obsessed with? That is a super hard question, you guys. Because I mean, obviously, like as a kid, I was totally into Disney. But I mean, that's kind of like an obvious choice, is anything Disney. But outside of like Disney and whatnot, it's either The Sandlot or Mrs. Doubtfire. Those are the two movies that I remember like constantly watching as a kid, like on repeat, and they're just like so nostalgic for me now, you guys. And I'm sure that that is the case for many who like grew up in the 90s and whatnot. But I would definitely say either of those two would be kind of the ones that I came obsessed with. Question number 3 is, what's your favorite genre and why? So I've always been a huge fan of comedy, you guys. I love a good laugh, and comedies, they can just be so ridiculous and so stupid sometimes that's just what makes them so funny. So I love a good comedy, and kind of branching off of that, I am also a huge fan of like rom-coms. I'm honestly, you guys, a total sap, so I cry over like the most cheesiest of things. But when you throw like love and comedy in the mix, it's awesome. But definitely comedy, you guys, for sure. All right, question number 4 is, who are your favorite actors? So I feel like this is kind of an obvious question because I love like all the typical actors, actresses. So like Denzel, DiCaprio, Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Jake Gyllenhaal, like all of your basic, actors, actresses everybody loves. Emma Stone, Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, Halle Berry. So, I mean, that's kind of easy. Like I said, it's just all of your typical ones that everybody seems to love. I love them too. But, kind of going off of that, like some actors, actresses who I think are kind of underrated. I do enjoy Ansel Elgort. I don't know why, but like the first time I saw him in The Fault in Our Stars, like I kind of just like fell in love with him. So I really enjoyed him in all the roles that he's been in. I do also like love Lou Diamond Phillips, you guys. I also really like Shia LaBeouf, and also, you guys, Michael Ealy. Like after his role in Fatale with Hilary Swank, like damn, that made me love him like even more. And then a couple like newer, younger actors, Charlie Plummer, Timothy Chalamet, I think is how you pronounce it. I really enjoy them too. And as for like other actresses, Shailene Woodley, Chloe Grace Moretz, Joey King, she was actually, what did I first see her? And I think I first saw her in like Ramona and Beezus. And then after that, there was this movie on Netflix called The Kissing Booth, which I absolutely loved her in. And I just think she's a very underrated actress, and I totally wish that she was in more things. You also got Florence Pugh and Thomasin McKenzie. I absolutely loved her in Jojo Rabbit. I know she was just recently in Last Night in Soho, which I still need to watch. But I really enjoyed her in all the films that I've seen her in so far. So I definitely want to see her in more. So question number 5 is, why and how did you start your collection? So honestly, I feel like ever since I was a kid, there's always been a collector inside of me. Like as a kid, I collected the, Disney VHSs and the clamshells. Like that was my thing. And then we just had tons of like recorded VHS tapes and all of that. And then from there, it just kind of went on to like always wanting movies for Christmas. And, then as I got older, kind of Walmart, like the $5 bins was kind of my go-to. And then I kind of got a little bit more into thrifting, and it's just something that has slowly progressed over the years. But it wasn't really until like, I want to say like late 2019 that I truly got into the whole collecting game and whatnot. But it's just this, it's a hard satisfaction to describe. Just the feeling of being able to like own your own physical media, own all the movies that you love and whatnot, and just kind of have this whole library of movies, you guys. It's something so amazing and so satisfying. And I really, really enjoy collecting movies. It's just kind of been something so special, a true hobby of mine now, something I'm passionate about. And honestly, it has helped me in like so many ways that, one wouldn't really think possible. But I do really love collecting physical media. So yeah, just kind of like over the years, it's just been kind of accumulating and just kind of getting more and more into it. Like I said, movies they were a huge part of my childhood, like at home. And then also we would go to the movies a lot and like kind of see all the new releases and everything. And so movies have just always been a big part of my life. All right, question number 6 is, how do you manage the collection regarding space availability? I don't, you guys. Like, honestly, I am literally like running out of room. Like, I have nowhere else to put my movies, and yet I keep buying and buying and buying. And honestly, I think space availability is something that any collector is always going to struggle with, because, not everybody can have a movie room. I mean, I got all of my stuff here in the living room. I got these 3 shelves behind me. There's another one over there. And then I have a few of those small like DVD shelves upstairs off this like little nook that we have up there. So I'm running out of room, you guys. So like lately I have been kind of trying to condense down. I've been trying to watch a lot of like the blind buys that I've bought and stuff, so I can see, okay, what's staying, what's going. But space, you guys, space is always going to be a huge struggle for any physical media collector. Question number 7 is, how do you organize it? So I kind of go the easiest route possible, alphabetical. I'm not about, like by genre or by label. No, alphabetical is the way to go. I go from numbers all the way to Z. And that's just how it goes, you guys. I have my Blu-ray collection like that. It has like all the like regular titles. And I do also include in like all my like horror Blu-rays and stuff like that. And then my DVDs, those are all also alphabetized and whatnot. So up here, I have my Disney Channel originals. Those are all alphabetized. And then here, these are all snapper cases. And then you can't see them, but on top of the bigger shelf here, there's also more snapper cases. Those are all alphabetized. The only things that I don't really have alphabetized is like I keep all my Christmas movies separate. So those aren't really like alphabetized or anything. And also like my horror DVDs, it's pretty much all stuff that I want to eventually upgrade. So I haven't really kind of incorporated it into the collection much. So it's just like in a stack. And like obviously like the multi-features, those aren't really alphabetized. And like all the movies that are upstairs, it's all of like the Disney stuff and like the kids movies. And so I don't really have that alphabetized just for the simple fact that it's more for them. And so obviously they're not going to go back and put it where it's supposed to go. So, I mean, you know, but for the most part, it is alphabetized, you guys. That is the way to go. So question number 8 is, what got you into physical media? Again, physical media, watching movies was a huge part of my childhood. We would go to the movies all the time. You know, like at home, we would watch movies as a family. At my babysitter's, so my babysitter, she was into, you know, recording tapes for people, like a bunch of movies on these tapes. So in her room, she literally had like, I don't know, 10, 15 TVs going at once. And so I was like always just fascinated by it. And so I would be in there with her in her room, just like watching like all these movies going on at once. And so it's just, it has like, especially Disney, that was a huge part of my childhood. So it has in many ways played just a huge role of me, you know, growing up with physical media and stuff. It may not have been always like owning everything, but I mean, with all the entire like Disney VHS collection I had back in the day, from going to the movies and all of that, like it just is something that has kind of stuck with me from, you know, day one. And it's something that I continue to love. So it being a huge part of my childhood has definitely, you know, increased like my enjoyment and everything in the whole collecting physical media. So question number 9 is, what's your favorite movie that's in a snapper? So if you guys have been with me for a minute here on my channel, you know I am completely obsessed with snapper cases. I know not everybody loves them. I know they can kind of become trash easily, but I do. I love them, you guys. I love them. I love them. They're just like so nostalgic, even that little like snapping sound and everything. And I love them, you guys. One, like I said, I mean, I have like, you know, 2 areas up there that's just snappers and whatnot. So I have like 100 snappers, I think, right now. And it's just one of the first things I look for when I go thrifting and whatnot. But my favorite snapper, you guys, this one is more for pure nostalgia. And this is actually a replacement because my original one that I had, it kind of got trashed. I finally decided I just wanted to get a new one. But we have the Goonies, you guys. And this is more for pure nostalgia. But this is literally like one, I think it's the very first snapper that I ever got. Again, I did replace it though because my other one was like just, it was all like coming off on the side and everything. It was just yuck. But the Goonies, classic, another film that was a huge part of my childhood. And so like the very first snapper that I ever got. But if we're talking more like artwork wise, I do really like this Clash of the Titans. And it is the original from, oh, when is this from? It's like 1981. I haven't actually seen this one. I've only seen the remake, but I really like the artwork on this. So if you want to take that route, it would be this one. So question number 10 is, what was the first movie you remember seeing in theaters? Now this was a hard one because considering like how much we actually went to the theater when I was younger, like we saw a ton of like new releases and everything. And I remember seeing a lot of like the Disney movies and whatnot in theaters when they came out. And so I had a little bit of trouble with this one. But the one that I kind of had the most memory of is The Lion King. That is the one that I do remember quite well seeing in theaters. So question number 11, when did you start collecting movies? So I did kind of already touch on this, but it wasn't until roughly about like end of 2019, I want to say, that I truly got like super into movie collecting. I mean, yeah, like high school, like, or like I said, you know, as a kid, I had my own little like collection stuff, which eventually, you know, just you got rid of it, you know, as the years went on and whatnot. And then, you know, I kind of, you know, accumulated stuff from, you know, Christmas gifts for asking for movies for Christmas. And then like high school, me and my brother, we would always go to like Walmart, check out their bins and get stuff from there. And then when me and hubby first met and we, you know, moved back up to Washington and everything, you know, we got into the whole going to pawn shops over there and whatnot. So I have things from there. And, but yeah, it wasn't anything like super crazy like it is now, because you guys know me. But like my whole crazy physical media collecting madness did pretty much start like late 2019, I would say. And you can see like my collection has grown insanely since then. So question number 12, do you use any app or program to list your collection? My brain is my app. I don't know. I'm not really into the whole app thingy and whatnot. Like I already have so many freaking apps on my phone, and I don't even like really have much space left on my phone. And so like, yeah, I'm pretty good though about remembering like what titles I have. I mean, only a few times have I bought like a duplicate, but other than that, I'm pretty good about remembering what all is in my collection. Question number 13 is, do you use anything like Letterboxd to list all the movies you watch in a year? No, I don't. I've considered getting a Letterboxd, but I don't know if it's something that I could really like keep up with. But if you follow me on Instagram, you know like what I'm watching. Like every time I put in a movie, I let you guys know, and we'll post a picture of what it is that I'm watching. And then I do share with you guys here on YouTube through my like what I watched this week videos. Like you guys get to see everything that I watch that week with like a little itty bitty mini review. So, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, sort of my way to track what I watch. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never really taken any interest in really knowing like how many films I actually watch in the year. But I mean, I could always just go back and count, I guess. But anywho, no Letterboxd at this point, and nothing else to track what I watch. All right, so question number 14 is, if you had to choose only one movie to watch the rest of your life, which movie would it be? And same for only one TV show. So despite all of the amazing titles that were huge in my childhood, like Sandlot, Miss Doubtfire, Matilda, Disney stuff and whatnot, there's one movie in particular that has kind of stuck with me over the years. And I just absolutely love this movie. This too was also like really huge in my childhood. I mean, obviously it's not really a movie that I should have been watching since it's, like gang related and whatnot and like prison life and stuff like that. But it's definitely one that has stuck with me, and it just kind of like puts me in this mood, I remember when this movie first came out, I was like, everybody wanted to be a vato loco. But anywho, we have Blood In, Blood Out. This needs a Blu-ray release, just saying. But yeah, Blood In, Blood Out, great movie, you guys, if you have not seen it. Obviously, Benjamin Bratt, he's gone on to do like so many other films. Damian Chapa, he has been mostly in more like Chicano-based films, sort of. And Jesse Borrego, I haven't really seen him in too much after this film. But yeah, we got Blood In, Blood Out, you guys, again. So all of them, they're like cousins and whatnot. And actually, these two are like stepbrothers, and then he's their cousin and stuff. But it's kind of about like brotherhood, but at the same time, it just, I don't really know how to describe this movie, you guys. I freaking love it. And it's crazy because I've seen this movie like a gazillion times, but yet I watch it. I mean, this is one that I watch at least like a few times a year. But one of the times when I watched it like a few years back, I actually had realized something that I had never realized before in the movie, which was crazy because, like I said, I've seen it like a gazillion times. But yeah, I mean, you got like brotherhood, you got the whole prison life, gang life kind of stuff and whatnot. And then just kind of, family falling apart and whatnot. And so really good movie, you guys. All right, question 15 is, do you remember your first movie you ever got on either DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, or one of each format? That is a hard one. I do want to say, though, I feel like possibly the first films that I ever got like on DVD were like the American Pie movies, as well as the like Transformers movies. So yeah, because like I said, like my childhood, we mostly had like VHSs and stuff like that. We didn't really get much into the whole like DVD thing until I started like asking for DVDs for Christmas and stuff like that. But those are kind of the ones that I remember having first in the collection. Don't take me, for that, but yeah, that's kind of what I remember. All right, question number 16 is, what's your favorite thing in your collection? Can be anything movie related, like a Funko, Pop, collectible, piece of clothing, favorite movie, etc. All right, so I do have a movie here, one that is very special to me. I hold it near and dear, just because of the kind of story behind it. I mean, I love this movie, but it's not like, ooh, like at the top of everybody's list. But we have the movie Light It Up. So this movie, you guys, I asked for this one Christmas. I forget what year it was. I want to say it was like mid 2000s or so. But I asked for this for Christmas. And so one of my uncles, he was like mad crazy on the hunt for this movie to find it for me because I could not find it anywhere. And, you know, back then I still wasn't really into the whole, you know, like buying movies online or looking through like eBay, Amazon, stuff like that. It just wasn't like really huge still then. I mean, to me anyways, it wasn't really like huge. So like I couldn't find this like in stores or anything. And so my uncle like went out of his way to find this movie for me. He ended up finding it at some like used like physical media store called, what was it called? Suncoast? I think Suncoast. They closed down like many years ago, but we had a Suncoast in our local mall. And so I guess he ended up finding it there. But so that Christmas, this was the last gift that I received from my uncle, because the following year in August, he passed away. So, and just the whole thought of him going, you know, out of his way to find this movie for me, because he knew like this was literally like number one on my list. Like when me and like my siblings, my cousins would ask for things, like we kind of like put them in the order, like what's at the top of our list. This was number one on my list because I could not find it. It was a movie that I really wanted. And so yeah, my uncle found it at this store, and like I was just like shocked. I was surprised. This was like the best Christmas gift ever, you guys. And so yeah, this is the last thing that I received from my uncle before he passed away. All right, question 17 is, who is your favorite movie hauler on YouTube? You guys, there are so many amazing YouTube movie haulers, and it's just, there's so many to name, you guys. But I will go ahead and name a few just so that, you know, if you're not following them, you know, go ahead and, you know, subscribe to them and, you know, do what you gotta do, all the likes and comments and love and all of that, because these are truly some really great channels, you guys, that I highly recommend that people watch. Again, if I don't mention you, please do not feel bad. These are just some, but there's like a gazillion of you out there that, you know, deserve like so much like following and everything, and it's just some amazing content out there. So I did kind of make my little list because like honestly, like I don't want to forget anybody, but I know I will. But we got PlatX2, Cinefessions, Joey Marie or Martinez Joe 74. We got Movie Edge, Jagoda Blue, Movies Ensue, 4K Media Guy, 4K D-Ray, Cinema Master, Durant Cinema, Mr. Nichols, Brian Mendoza, Alex Thomas, Vargas Vault, Mid-Level Media, Y2K Basis 19, which is my buddy Bryce. We got Katie Warman, the horror punk, which is Brian. We got Blu-ray Jays, Movie Chatter, Carlos Sutton, Movies with Ryan, and Let's Watch a Movie. Again, you guys, there's just a few of the channels that I watch, but I do watch so many different channels, you guys. So many amazing haulers out there. And I love haul videos, you guys. Like, it's just so awesome seeing all the releases people pick up from like different labels, all the steel books, all the, you know, awesome 4Ks, and just even like when people haul movies that like, you're like, all of a sudden you like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that one. It's just like all comes rushing back. It's just, it's awesome because sometimes you get to remember those titles that you didn't quite remember. And so, you know, just always also like adding, you know, to your list of things to pick up and whatnot. So haul videos are awesome, you guys. And I do just want to say to all of my fellow movie YouTubers, you know, keep up the great work, keep up the hauls, the reviews, all of that, you guys. So many amazing channels out there. Again, so many to name. But yeah, everybody, please, you know, keep it up. All right, and then the final question, question 19, says, it's not really a question, but could you name show-off movies in your collection people would be surprised you own? So this was actually one that I had kind of considered maybe doing a video on, and I very well may do so down the road because it's actually a really good you know, topic there. And so I know I have more in my collection, but I will show you guys a few that I think might come off as being a little bit weird for me to own, I guess you could say. So when it comes to movies, you guys, like honestly, I am open to anything. Doesn't matter like how sexual, how sadistic, how disturbing it is. I am just like so curious. I mean, movies is art, you guys. And there's just people get so creative with movies, and I mean, even as a mother, as a woman, and some of these things that happen in movies, it's just kind of like an eye opener, you know. It just kind of makes you more aware of your, you know, reality, of your surroundings, and all of that, if that makes any sense at all. But I am open to literally anything when it comes to movies, you guys. So a few of these, honestly, most of them have to do with like sexual matters, but hey. So I actually have not watched this one yet, and I've been meaning to, but I mean, it's like 5 hours long, you guys. It's actually like a kind of a two-parter, but together it's like 5 hours, and that is Nymphomaniac. And basically it is literally all like, you know, sexual encounters, sexual talk, everything like sex related. I mean, that's like my understanding of this. I mean, I've heard it's actually pretty good, but again, it is like together, volume 1, volume 2, like 5 hours long. So I kind of just need to find the time to actually go ahead and watch this. But it basically, it's like all these like different stories of like people's like sex life and stuff like that. So we got Nymphomaniac. I know this isn't really necessarily a one that, you know, I feel like most people own this anyways in their collection, or it's one that they should, because it is so nicely done. And that is Boogie Nights. And you guys know it has to do with the whole like porn industry and whatnot, but the way they did this was just so fantastic. I really, really do enjoy this movie. But again, since it has to do with like, you know, the porn industry and stuff like that, like sometimes you can like look at a person and be like, you do not watch those kind of movies. That is not for you. So we got Boogie Nights. This next one, it's honestly like a super weird movie. And I will be honest, it really wasn't for me. And, you know, you probably wouldn't think that this is even a movie that I would own. It was a total blind buy, though, for me. But it was like, it's supposed to be like a kinky movie, but this is like the strangest, kinkiest movie I have ever seen. And it's just so weird. And it's just one of those movies that when you're watching it, you're just like thinking the whole time, like, what the fuck am I watching? And so that is Forbidden Zone. This, like I said, it's supposed to be kinky, but this is one like next level, like strange kinkiness. I don't know. The next one I have to share with you is this movie called This Girl's Life. I forget if this one was a true story or not. I feel like this might have been. I'd have to double check on that. But This Girl's Life, she's basically a like internet porn star. And I mean, it's all out there, you guys. Like even the dudes, like there's literally a scene where she's like picking, okay, yours is too tiny, yours is too big, yours is too thick kind of thing, you know? So yeah. But actually I really did enjoy this. You do have a really nice cast. Like there's like you can see there all of the cast that's in this. But I did enjoy it. It kind of gave me more of like a diary vibe kind of thing. But I mean, again, it isn't quite Boogie Nights or anything. I would definitely say, you know, Boogie Nights was better when it comes to the whole porn industry thing, and she's more like internet based, but not bad. And then the last one I'm going to share with you, this is a movie that I had found thrifting, and honestly, when I got this, I mostly got it because like Kevin Bacon's on the cover, right? And so I mostly got it just because I looked at the cover, I saw him, I saw the cast, I'm like, yes, I'm getting this, the cast is awesome. And so I didn't really read into this. And so even when I actually watched it, I didn't bother to read the back again or anything like that. And so when I watched it, I was just so disturbed, you guys. It is a very disturbing topic, and especially being a mother, it's disturbing, you guys. And that is The Woodsman. And so basically he's this fresh out of jail sex offender. They literally place him right across the street from a freaking elementary school. And what makes this even like more disturbing is that every day there's this other like pedophile outside the school, luring little boys into his car with candy, and this dude's just watching, doesn't report it, and it's so disturbing, you guys. And then he has this like encounter with this little girl, and it's just also very disturbing. And then his love interest, Kira Sedgwick, like, she, finds out later on about, what he was in jail for, and yet she still wants to be with him. Like, it's just so messed up, so disturbing in so many ways, you guys. So, definitely an interesting movie to own. It's not one that I plan to revisit anytime soon, but nonetheless, Kevin Bacon was really good in it. I will give him that, but it must have been a very hard role for him to do. So that is it for today, you guys. That is all the questions. Thank you guys so much for all of these awesome questions. I really enjoyed doing this video. And again, if you have any other questions that you feel free to ask. And I will definitely answer them in a future video. I appreciate you guys for watching, and join the family if you have not, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.